What is up, guys? I am back with another video, and today I'm going to be addressing something that I feel like is extremely important to talk about. Because I find myself having conversations with people about investing, and I feel like the number one pushback I always get is something along the lines of, I don't really know about investing. I don't, I just don't really understand that stuff. For some reason, it's always comes down to like a lack of understanding. So I'm gonna break down why, if you're not investing, you are doing yourself an extreme disservice. And I don't care what you know. It doesn't matter if you know anything. You can understand what I'm about to show you right now. So let's talk about inflation. Why is it so bad to not invest? Well, let's just use a simple analogy, right? Let's say I have $100 and I want to buy a timeout. Let's switch it up. Let's say I have $10,000 and I want to buy a car. And the car I want to buy is $10,000. Let's just assume there's no taxes or fees for the sake of this analogy. Today I can buy this car for $10,000. Inflation is when the prices of goods increases. So let's say next year I still have $10,000. I've let that money. I decided, you know what? I don't want to get a car this year. I'm gonna get a car next year. I let that money sit in my savings account. But the price of the car is now $10,500. What's the problem here? The problem is the price of the good has went up. The price of the car has went up, but the value of my money has not increased. So now my $10,000 is less valuable next year than it is this year. This year I can buy the car. Next year I cannot buy the car. And this is how the economy goes. The prices of goods goes up, but if you don't do anything with your money, if it's just sitting in a savings account, if it's sitting in a checkings account, if it's underneath your mattress or hidden in your closet in a box or sitting in some piggy bank, it is losing value because of inflation. So how do we solve this problem? You have to use that money to make more money, because it's not going to make more money just sitting there doing nothing. It has to be invested somewhere so it can gain value. And that is why I recommend that everybody should be invested in the stock market. You say, well, I don't know about the stock market. You always keep saying the stock market. Here's what it comes down to. If you invest in the S&P 500, you are diversified, well diversified enough. You don't have to worry about anything. All you have to do is open an account. It can be on Robinhood. It can be on Fidelity. It can be on Charles Schwab. I don't care what it is. Open an account, put money in it, and invest into the S&P 500 every month. Now, let's get into some numbers. Because I know people like numbers. So I have the investment calculator sitting here right in front of me. So let's say you start at an amount of $0. Zero. We are at nothing. We have nothing. I don't care how old you are. You have nothing right now. And let's just assume you make 7%. Now, on average, the S&P gets 8 to 10%. But let's just say you only get 7% every year. Let's just say 7%, because S&P has been doing a lot better than 7%, even 8 to 10% in the last 10 years. So let's just assume 7, conservative, 7, whatever. If you put in $50 every month, $50 every month. Let me just repeat that. $50 every month. That means $25 a paycheck, assuming you get paid bi-monthly. I mean, you get paid every 2 weeks. If you put in $25 off of every paycheck, $50 a month, that's it. For 20 years, you would have contributed, after that 20 years, $12,000. But you know how much your money would be worth? $26,198. And you know what you did to do that? Nothing. Nothing. All you did was make some sacrifices, some small sacrifices in other areas to put this $50 in here every month. Now let's say that's after 20 years. Now let's say you're a little bit younger, 30 years. Let's just up to 30 years. You do it for 30 years, $50 a month. That's it. $50 a month. Oh, okay. You would have contributed $18,000. That's a lot of money. But guess what it'd be worth? $61,000 to just put the money in there and sit and do nothing. You don't have to do research. You don't have to look into anything. All you have to do is put $50 in there every month. Now let's say you have a better job and you can afford to put in a little bit more than $50. You're not going to miss $50. Let's say you put in $100. You just do $100. You contributed $36,000. And after 30 years of doing this, it would be worth $122,708. Do you see the map? Do you see why leaving your money in a savings account to do nothing? I'm not saying not to have money in a savings account. That's not what I'm saying. So don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not saying to not have any money in savings. Of course you need some money in savings. But I'm saying to not find a way to put $50, $100. If you had put $200, you would have made $173,000 in interest. If you could just manage to put $200 a month, $100 every paycheck. This is why we have to think about these things. And we have to act on knowledge. It's not enough to know. We have to do. Because every year that passes, every day that passes, this year you would get, if you did it for 30 years, you would get $173,000. But if you only did it for 20, no, let's cut it in half. Let's say you only did 15. You're only making $27,000. Still investing $200 a month. This is the secret of compound interest. Something that many people have heard of. The secret of compound interest. You have to invest your money. You have to. And if you don't, you're missing out. I can't make it no more simple than this. I don't care what your situation is. Maybe you're in a bad financial situation. I understand. I've been watching a lot of Dave Ramsey lately. Maybe you got a lot of debt. I understand that. Maybe you don't have a well-paying job. Maybe you're not making as much as you would like to make. But listen, even then, you could find a way to make $50 extra in a month. I'm not asking you to do it in a day. I'm not asking you to do it every day. I'm asking you for just 1 month. You can't go and do DoorDash. Okay, I don't have a car. Okay, well you can't, pick up one extra shift at work. That's all it takes. It's not even a whole shift. If you getting paid minimum wage, $15 an hour where I'm from, $15 an hour, you getting paid $15. You only gotta work 3 hours, and that's 45. Now let's say 4 hours considering taxes. You gotta work 4 hours to get that. You can't find 4 extra hours at the job to get this. I'm in a whole month. Nobody offered up a shift for a whole month. Come on. We listen, and I know everybody that's watching this is not in a position where they're doing a minimum wage job. Sometimes it's cutting back on the eating out. Sometimes it's, okay, maybe I'm not going to make this big purchase. Maybe I'm not going to take this trip. Maybe I'm going to change my priorities. But you have to. Please. You have to take this serious. There's a lot of money to be made, and it doesn't really require you to do anything, much of anything. There are people who pick stocks. I experiment with trying to come up with a strategy that outperforms the market. But to just do what the market does, you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is find $50, $100. The more you can find, the better. And just let it sit and do nothing. Don't even look at it. Don't even check to see what it does. Just trust. Just trust. It's growing. And after 5 years, you're not gonna see it. After 10 years, I mean, depending on how much you putting in, how much you getting out. Because let's just change the numbers a bit. Let's say you starting at zero though. Let's say it's 15 years, but instead of 7%, let's say you get 12%, and you investing $200 a month. You invested 36,000 after 15 years, but you ended up with almost 101,000. The S&P has averaged 10 to 10 and a half nominal return since 1957. Let's look at what the market did last year. Last year, the market gained 16.39%. The year before that, 23.31%. The year before that, 24.23%. And then in 2022 was a pretty big downturn at almost 20%. But see, here's the thing. That's everybody's worst fear. Everybody looks at this and they say, "Well, what if I put my money in 2021 and then all of a sudden it crashes down in 2022?" Well, guess what? You're going to keep buying. You're going to keep buying. You're going to buy at a cheaper price. And when the market recovers, which according to this graph, it always does, you're going to make your money back and you're going to be fine. If you're trying to get the money back in 2 years, yeah, that might be a problem. I can see how you're concerned. But you have to start thinking in a long-term horizon. You can't be putting the money in and trying to get it back in 8 months. Not if you're going to invest like this. The method is proven, but it takes patience. It takes time, but it's proven. It's proven. People have done it for years and years. And what I don't like is when people want to blame the rich for having money. The rich are corrupt. A lot of the rich are corrupt. Not everybody, but a lot of them are. But see, my problem is, why are we going to complain about the rich when we're not even doing everything we can to help ourselves? I'm not asking you to do nothing. I'm not asking you to do no research. I'm not asking you to go out your way to really do anything. If you're telling me that for the sake of your financial future, if you have kids, for the sake of your kids, for the sake of your wife or your husband, for the sake of your brothers or sisters, for the sake of your mother or father, whoever, you can't find a way to find $50 a month. You can't find a way to find $100 a month to put into this. Just make some sacrifices or work a little bit more. You already working hard. I know it's tough. I know, but you can't find you can't, like, really, come on. I know. I just know that's not true. The human beings are just too capable to let that be the case, to let that be true. So, there goes my little rant for today. Somebody suggested, hey, you need to make a video. I tried to tell him. I said, if you know, I told him I can make it simple for you. It was a quick conversation. We didn't really have much time to talk, but I said, I can make it simple for you. I said, all you got to do, put your money in the SP500. He said, I already know that. I said, well, if you know that, why you ain't doing it? If you know it, why you not doing it? Gotta make a choice, ladies and gentlemen. Gotta make a choice. And this seems to be an easy one. And for all those people, when you might say, well, you gotta understand it's not that simple. You trying to oversimplify, make it seem like, oh, it's easy to just, you don't understand my situation. You're right. Maybe I don't understand your situation. But all I'm saying is, these are the facts. And if you are one of those people who have $50, you can find $50. You know you can find $100. The more money, the better. You can find $150 with some sacrifice. If you know you can find this money and you're still not investing it, you have to look in the mirror and ask yourself a hard question. What am I doing? Don't tell me about the economy. Don't tell me about Joe Biden, Donald Trump, Kamala Harris. Don't tell me about nobody. Don't tell me about Obama. I don't want to hear about the economy when you got $100 every month going to Starbucks. When you got $100 on Netflix, I mean not on Netflix, but subscriptions. When you buy McDonald's and you going to the restaurant, you're spending your money on alcohol. For all my college peers out there, even though I just graduated, my college peers out there, spending your money on alcohol. I know you young, but when you young is the best time to start because you got the most time. Your money is good. Do I need to pull up the calculator again? 15 years, 100,000, 101,000. We double that. We're talking about a difference of $600,000 for all my young people out there. Talking about a difference of $600,000. Next year is not it's better to start this year than next year. All right, man. That's my rant. If you stayed for this long in a video, I appreciate you watching. Please drop a like button if you want to see more content like this. And also subscribe to the channel if you want to see my other videos that I'm going to be posting soon. And yeah, I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.